Good evening, all of you. Yeah, for the new, first let me introduce. My name is Fazil. I teach economy. Nothing more than that. Okay, fine. See, we thought the crowd will be very limited, but we can understand it is overpopulated. So what we can do is today we are not going to share you. Like in terms of digital. There are few things which I can show you project, but because of this lack of this, either the projector or the digital screen, what we can do is like I shall dictate the questions. All I shall post my PPT on the Telegram group, which you can just download it. That could be very better rather than dictating the questions. If you want me to dictate the question, I'll dictate the question. Else, if you just wanted to share the document in the Telegram channel, that could be better, where we can directly jump into the topics. All right. So, just wanted to know who are from not from Amigos. Just who are not from Amigos. I mean, like we are not going to send you. Don't don't worry. I just wanted to know who are from not from Amigos. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Chalo, there are many. And anyways, other question, people from Amigos, I know, I can recognize you people. Chalo. See, this is a session where it will be interrupted with lot of cough and irritation because I'm actually going through with a bad throat, etc. And second and most important thing, here we have channelized this session with some themes. Let me first tell you what is this program, how I am going to take this program for the next 14 hours. Next 14 hours, 7 sessions is what I am going to take. In this, I will cover all the 25 years of questions. 25 years of previous year questions of UPSC. That could be very useful for UPSC as well as the state services. Next important, questions are from different themes, different areas. I have segregated them as per the different themes based on the themes. First important theme, what I have picked is based on the importance. What is that importance? Because daily student read them in the newspapers. Second, these are the most important questions for UPSC because if you take past 10 years question papers or you can take minimum of 5 years question paper, I can easily show you that there are questions which are directly reflected from these topics. So what are those topics? Very important topics. First, banking. Second one, international institutions. So international institutions, and that too very important is WTO. Alternate year I could see that there is a question on WTO, and it is one which is very technical in nature, which always get amended, updated regularly, that you need to add it here. And fourth, we will take some techniques, how to eliminate the option, what you have to read, where do you identify, how do you choose that option, how do you have to go only for that statement to eliminate, which is that most user friendly statements for you, what are the keywords you should recognize in like you should identify in the paper, which can help you to eliminate. Even that we are going to discuss. So I will share this document in the Telegram channel, so you can just download this document from the Telegram channel, and it could be better for us. Or if you want me, how many people want me to dictate? Anyone who want me to dictate loudly? Dictate is questions. We are doing here previous year questions. So you want me to dictate the previous year question, or you want me to share in the Telegram channel? Anything is okay for me. That is what I am going to do for sure. Okay. Okay. Learn with Fazal. LEARN, learn with Fuzzle. Okay, I have posted this. Chalo, we will take the first question. Now, in this session, we will read little bit technical. So, I hope you understand this. In any case, if you have any doubt, you can always meet me after the class. And to remind you, this class will be little more technical. So, I think you should follow me. And I'll keep it as simple as possible. Alright, look at the first question. Question number 1. With reference to International Monetary and Financial Committee, consider the following statements. Here, this question was asked in 2016. 2016. See, what are basically international institutions which are associated with economy? First is IMF, second one is World Bank, and third one is WTO. See, in this, very important for the exam is IMF is very important for exam, and WTO is very important for your exam. And comparing IMF and WTO is very important for your exam. So when I take WTO as the concept, every alternate year there is a question on WTO. Every alternate year there is a question on WTO, and sometimes there is a question on IMF. I think way back they have asked a question on World Bank, but most of the time they will frame a question about WTO because it's a very difficult to understand, and also there is lot of technicality involved in WTO, and little efforts, like we will discuss now few questions, themes, etc. Little efforts can easily make you like comfortable to delete some options so that you can at least go near to 50%, and remaining 50% is all about your knowledge. So based on this, there was a first question with reference to International Monetary and Financial Committee. Consider the following statements. See, IMFC, that is International Monetary Financial Committee. This is a very important committee which will suggest financial activities, financial acts basically to IMF. To which countries you have to loan, what is the basis you have to consider, and second and most important aspect of IMFC is it is a mirror image of IMF's executive board. IMFC, it's a mirror image of IMF's executive board, which means what? There is a very important board which is part of IMF, that is called as an executive board. Basically, we have around 190 countries in IMF, out of which executive board has 24 members. This topic I have covered to almost most of them, especially the civils batch. 24 members are there as part of this executive board. This executive board, India has a permanent membership. India is a very powerful country. India is a founder member of IMF. So India is a founder member of IMF means at the time of its establishment, India took participation, which means this is part of Bretton Woods Conference. Bretton Woods Conference took place in USA in 1944, where in 1945 and all, this World Bank, which is IBRD, IMF were established. This IMF has very important body which is called as Board of Governors. Board of Governors means it's an assembly. It is basically like a assembly or a parliament where the members will come and sit. How many members are there? 190 members will come and sit. From this 190 members, 24 which are very important, you call them as an executive board. This executive board is further classified into 16 members and 8 members. And India is a part of 16. India is a part of 16 members, where 16 members will talk about their GDP plus other countries' GDP. This is very important point about the 16 members. In this board, executive board of 24 members, 16 members where India has a permanent membership. 16 members where India has a permanent membership. India will talk about itself plus its group. So what is the group of India? You have Sri Lanka, you have Bhutan, you have Bangladesh, and India itself. So they are 4 members. So 4 members, on behalf of this 4 members, including India, India will talk here. I'm talking about the GDP of these countries. How can we promote the GDP of these countries, etc. Plus 8 members are those which will talk only about themselves. They will not talk about any other country, which means they will talk about only their GDP only. They will not talk about any other GDP. Example, USA, example, China, example, UK, example, Russia, Japan, Germany, France, Saudi Arabia, etc. These are the 8 countries which are part of this executive board, which are very powerful. In general, 24 itself is very powerful. Within this 24, they are categorizing into 2 groups, 16 member groups and 8 members groups. Just remember, this is, till now, this topic is not asked. He has asked the questions framing the other areas who are supporting IMF. That means there is a committee, IMFC, which is supporting IMF. So that IMFC committee, he has asked a question. But now he will enter into this, the composition of IMF, which is headed by Board of Governors. Later we have 22 members who call it as an executive board. So how does it look? IMF. Here you have Board of Governors. In this we have executive board, and out of this you have one managing director. Alright. So this is a structure of IMF. Who are Board of Governor members? The finance ministers of every country, 190 plus, will participate here. Our finance minister will be part of Board of Governor. And who is this executive board? From this Board of Governor, we will take 24 members. The most important countries will sit here in this. So that's what I told. IMFC we have here. This question was asked. IMFC is a very important committee which is giving some set of guidelines to IMF, and it is not part of IMF. It is giving guidelines to IMF, and IMFC is a mirror image of this executive board. 24 means what? In IMF executive board we have 24 members, and in IMFC, in this committee itself, we have similar 24 members. So 24 here, 24 there, almost similar. So that's why I'm calling as an mirror image. In the exam, if you say that IMFC is a mirror image of IMF's executive board, most people in such scenario, they'll eliminate the option. It cannot be, but in this case it is. So this is one important point you should understand, that what is called as a mirror image. Second important, here India is a very responsible country which is also taking responsibility of the other countries' GDP. So GDP, your growth rate, based on the GDP growth rate, India will talk. See, recently Sri Lanka was in issue. When Sri Lanka was in issue, $3 billion were approved. Who will approve? Executive board. Generally, if IMF is lending loan, if you are facing some crisis, economic crisis, so Sri Lanka knocked the door of IMF. In such cases, IMF said, as of now, Sri Lanka's GDP position is very bad, so we should reconsider. So who stood with Sri Lanka? India. Why? Sri Lanka is part of which group? group of India. When India is talking about itself, it will also fight for Sri Lanka. It will fight for Bhutan. It will fight for Bangladesh. That means these countries will go in a group. Now you all know Sri Lanka is facing lot of issue. When Sri Lanka is facing that issue, India is a very powerful country in this 16 member. It strongly recommended, no, you have to give loans to Sri Lanka. In such cases, this executive board said yes. When executive board says yes, IMF automatically says yes. When IMF says yes, $3 billion were withdrawn and it was given to Sri Lanka. Next, now let's come back to the question of IMFC. What does IMFC do? It is a committee which is suggesting IMF. That's it. It is a committee which is suggesting IMF, which means any financial activity, any financial responsibility which you have to take, this IMFC will act as a guide to you. So now look at this question. IMFC discuss matters of concern affecting the global economy and advises the IMF on the direction of its work. Is it true? Yes, that is what we have discussed now. Next, World Bank participates as an observer in IMFC's meeting. Now look at here, IMFC is guiding IMF. In this process, IBRD and IDA put together, this is called as World Bank. Put together it is called as an World Bank. IBRD and IDA put together we call it World Bank. This World Bank will sit here. For what purpose you are lending it to Sri Lanka? For development. What kind of development activities? So World Bank is very important institution which will participate and will sit there and like acting as an observer. So IMF is going to approve to Sri Lanka a loan. So this IMF is here, it is headed by the executive board. So executive board will be guided by IMFC and there is one observer which is World Bank. So any one institution like IBRD and IDA of World Bank will be taking initiative and they will sit there and observe what is happening, whether you are going to development, whether you are going to reconstruction or any sort of development activity is going to take place in Sri Lanka. This is how these institutions will work. What is the full form of IBRD? International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. And IDA is International Development Association. Okay, so this two institutions put together we call as World Bank. So now look at the question. The World Bank participates as observer. It is not a technical advisor. So technical advisor will be IMFC itself. Technical advisor means what? What are the post consequences? I'll sit in a meeting, I'll say I am recommending. If I am saying that I am recommending, definitely I have a greater say. Post consequences IMFC will take care, which means post consequences means once you have delivered the loan and this loan reaches to the Sri Lanka, and how the Sri Lanka has to come out, what measures. I have given the loan, you utilize it and you develop it. No, you have knocked my door, it's my responsibility that to take you out of that crisis. It's not like a loan which you have got from bank and you wanted to construct a house, okay, and the house is not constructed. I'll sell this house to else, I'll get the money, I'll repay you. No, we are not into this business. Technical advisor means how you are utilizing the money. You have taken money from me, $3 billion, go and invest in Sri Lanka and ensure that there is some growth. Ensure that what are the details given by IMF, you follow all these things, else I will not give you loan. Which will definitely make Sri Lanka to come out of crisis. This is what IMFC is doing. This is how IMFC will give a technical advisor to IMF's executive board. So this is one little bit technical question which you have to understand. And second statement is very simple. Most of the time that second statement comes in like in the newspaper. World Bank has raised this question. So participates as an observer. Always remember, observer has a right to raise the question. So observer has all the rights to raise this question. And what kind of question? Any sort of question the observer can raise. Observer has that kind of rights, but observer cannot stop the flow of financial support. That is vice versa. All right. So answer has to be 1 and 2. Next, second one. There are a lot of questions about IMF. So once this is done, so again we will come across one more question of IMF, WTO, and like IBRD. Most of the topics, important areas of these three institutions will be covered. Question number 2. The terms agreement on agriculture. See, how are these questions picked? See, most of them read newspapers. I mean, most of them would have started, or most of them start reading now, or most of them who are reading this current affairs material, I'll strongly advise them to read the Hindu. How many read Hindu paper here? Okay, good. Others are observer like World Bank. Observer Surra, sorry, okay, fine. So, see, it's better now you start reading Hindu paper. And how many are like you're going to write for the first time? First time, okay, fine. So, most of them are about to write for the first time. Sorry, good. See, where are these questions picked? Now look at the question, the terms. He starts with the keyword which is called as terms. Terms. Now whenever you read economy paper, I mean like the newspaper I'm talking about, there are certain terms which are given. How do you pick these terms? Terms are especially the keywords on the basis of which the meeting is going on. Terms means what? Agenda on agriculture, AOA. This is one term. He will ask you, agenda on agriculture is recently in news. Is being discussed as part of which of the following summit? So 15 questions what we get in economy, 2 to 3 questions with a simple preparation you can get it by solving such kind of terms, because in this you don't need any technical knowledge and you are like daily a sincere student who reads the newspaper and you know what is going on in and around. For such people, if such questions are asked, they can easily answer. Now for example, here the term agreement on agriculture. So that is the first term which has been given, agreement on agriculture. And agreement on the application of sanitary and phytosanitary measures. I think this was a recently I have done for the civil services people. Application of sanitary and phytosanitary measures and peace clause appear in news frequently in the context of which of the following? It is definitely not related to FAO, UNFC, UNFCCC, and it is not related to UNAP. So the answer has to be World Trade Organization. See, basic knowledge can help you to answer. Now let us take what is agreement on agriculture, what is peace clause, what is sanitary and phytosanitary measures. So you don't need any notes, right? Running notes, it's quite enough. Okay, chalo, thank you. Because my people always need notes. Once a topic is done, they need notes, and they should be given some time because they carry bunch of pens. So different note they'll put it with red color, blue color, black color, etc. So here we will go very little bit faster so that we can cover more topics. See, in very basics of WTO, what does WTO does? It will regulate the trade. That's it. What is the subject of WTO? It is regulating the trade. It is regulating what? The trade of goods as well as services, both. So it will regulate the goods as well as the services among its members. Any country who is a member of WTO should follow the rules of WTO. What are the rules? Goods, services, what all could be the areas which you are going to apply, or in terms of trading, WTO will come into picture. I will put you under suspension. I will put you under some sanctions. I will put you under some restrictions. you have to follow, because WTO is binded based on three important principles. This was not asked even once. So this is the most important like the statements which are most important for exam, because these are the heart of WTO. So every time you see whichever topic is with respect to WTO which are in news, he has asked, but not the static. So WTO is based on three important principles. First important principle is national treatment. What is the meaning of national treatment? National treatment means how you are treating the domestic goods. In the similar way, you have to treat the foreign goods. It's not like you are giving more importance to domestic and least importance to the foreign. That will not work. That will not benefit the trade. Here, national treatment means treating both equally. Second one, most favored nation. Most favored nation. Third one, reciprocity. First one is national treatment, second one is most favored nation, third one is reciprocity. Out of these three, most favored nation is very important for your exam. National treatment means what? Treating the domestic goods as well as the foreign goods equally. Any foreigner who is exporting the goods to India and India is also producing the good, it's not like you give more benefits to Indian producer but not to the foreigner, making the foreign goods as costly. Demand will come down for the foreign goods. Then the foreigners will definitely file against you in WTO. Here, MFN means most favorite. So, most favorite nation. So, India has given most favorite nation to Pakistan in 1996. Now, what is the meaning of most favored nation? Most favored nation means whenever I export a good to you, we'll write in this way. Whenever India exports a good to Pakistan, Pakistan can tax. And whenever Pakistan exports goods to India, India won't tax. This is how you have to understand. This concept is called as most favored nation. Most favored nation, we have given it to Pakistan. So what is the principle of WTO says? If you have given most favored nation status to Pakistan, you have to give to all the members, which means a country which has extended most favored nation concept to one of the member of WTO, then the same concept has to be applicable to all the countries. Imagine 190, everyone you have to give most favored. So what does India did? Once after giving it to Pakistan, we extended to the other blocks, okay, the other groups, etc., SARC, BIMSTEC, etc., so that we have given to n number of countries, etc. After Pulwama attacks, we withdraw the status given to Pakistan. Just remember one thing, India has given to Pakistan, Pakistan never reciprocated to India, which means Pakistan has never given this most favored nation status to India. This is very one important bit. Next important theme here is, what is that made India to withdraw the status what you have given it to Pakistan? And second most important here, among this most favored nation, once you give to one country, you have to extend it to all countries. This is the first important theme of most favored nation. Once you have given it to Pakistan, you have to give to all the members of WTO. And second important, once you have given to one country, you cannot withdraw it. Means what? Once you have given it to Pakistan, you cannot take it back. It has to be there. It has to be a permanent. But there is one clause, Article 21, Clause B. Okay, Article 21 Clause B, this is of the Constitution mentioned under WTO, not Indian Constitution. So 21 Clause B, okay, states that in a case if there is an internal security issues or security issues with respect to a country, we have security issues from Pakistan. In such cases we can withdraw. So this is an article which India applied it, notified it, stating that, sir, you have an article 21 clause B, clause 3, based on which I am going to withdraw the status which I have given it to Pakistan. This was done on the background of Pulwama attack where we lost many soldiers. Okay. Now, third important status here is reciprocity. What is reciprocity? If someone reduces taxes, you also reduce the taxes. As simple as that. If someone is favoring you, you also favor them. This is called as reciprocity, reciprocal. So there are three important. One is national treatment. Second one is most favored nation. Third one is the reciprocity. Three important themes of WTO. These three important are very important questions. None of them have been asked in the exam till now. So you have to be very careful that India filed again some sort of issues were there between India, Cuba and Australia. If the topic comes, I'll explain you. There India has objected the case raised against India by Cuba, Australia. Okay, so in such cases what happened? So what is the importance of national treatment, MFN, reciprocity, we will study later. Now there is a question here about agreement of agriculture, application of sanitary and phytosanitary, and peace clause. What is the meaning of peace clause? Peace clause means if someone is not happy, if the two nations, the two countries or two groups are not happy, then the WTO will come into picture and will try to ensure that some sort of justification is made for both of them. This is called as peace clause. So there is one peace clause with respect to agriculture. There is one peace clause with respect to agriculture. There is one peace clause with respect to agriculture under WTO because India objected Doha declaration on agriculture. India was not happy with this Doha agenda. India was not happy with the Doha agenda. I will tell you what is Doha, Bali, etc. Just as of now understand. Peace clause was given by WTO. Peace clause was given by WTO, which means there are two groups. One group was led by USA, other group was led by India. These two groups were quarreling. Why were they quarreling? Because India wants to give some benefits to its domestic producers. Could be agriculture, could be industries, etc. And USA was completely objecting it, stating that you cannot give additional subsidies. And there was an issue going on between USA and India. USA group, Indian group. And hence this issue was solved by bringing a peace clause. Peace clause means was a temporary relief given to India and its group for a certain period of time. You can give subsidies. Now what are subsidies? Subsidies are those which can actually give some benefit to the domestic producers. What will happen if I give subsidies? Subsidies can be two types: direct subsidies, indirect subsidies. Direct subsidies means I'll directly give all your producers, I'll directly give you paisa, just go and produce a good. This is called as direct subsidies. Indirect subsidies means I will not give you any money, but I will try to benefit you indirectly. Reduce electricity charges, free water supply. Okay, I'll give you many labors, raw materials, I will reduce you 50% cost. These are called as indirect. But direct or indirect, anyways we are calling it as an subsidies. If a country is giving maximum subsidies, what the country is expecting? It is expecting that its domestic goods become cheaper. So what will happen if domestic goods become cheaper? Foreign goods compared to foreign goods which are becoming costlier, which means demand for the domestic goods will increase. That is why we are giving subsidies. So what percentage of subsidies needs to be given? India says what you are allowing for the develop, what percentage you are giving it for develop, greater than that percentage I will give it, because we are in the process of transforming from least developed, from developing to developed status. So we are in the transforming status and we need your support of WTO. If you are not giving us permission to give subsidies, it is actually creating some issue to my farmers, to my domestic manufacturers, etc. Which becomes, the goods becomes very costly and people will not buy my goods. And you are producing the goods in a big mechanized way. You don't use much labor, developed countries. You use mechanized machinery, outputs, etc. to produce cheap products. Products with quality, the products are cheaper, they will dominate the globe. Then where should my domestic people should go? So in such cases, India has raised objection at Doha. In Doha, the declaration came in such a way, more subsidies can be provided by the developed than the developing. So there was some discrimination which India feels that should make India unhappy, because already USA and its group are well developed and they can used and can produce mechanized goods cheaper cost. Still the formula says you can give more benefits, still the goods become more cheaper and they will dominate the world, dominating Indian goods also. So in such cases, India asked some relief. That relief is called as peace clause. Is it clear? Peace clause was between developed and developing. Next, there is an agreement on agriculture. That's what we were discussing. Peace clause is also related to that. Agreement on the application of sanitary and phytosanitary measures. This is very interesting. Sanitary measures means on food items. Phytosanitary, non-food items. Sanitary on food items, phytosanitary on non-food items. Now what are food, what are non-food? See, in WTO, the trading is with respect to both goods and services. Both goods and services have been traded. In this regard, what are the goods which have been traded? Manufactured goods, electronics, textiles, etc. Along with this, agriculture goods are also being traded. So when these agriculture goods are traded, alright, so there are certain goods which you export to other countries which will be objected. For example, India exported certain goods to Europe. I'll give a live example. India exported Alfonso mango to Europe. When it was exported to Europe, Europe objected it, stating that you did not use artificial ripening. You have used artificial ripening rather than natural ripening. Natural ripening means what the fruit will be ripened on the tree itself. But what do? You will take it away, pluck it away very immediately, and you will add some carbide to it, and you will make that it is going to be ripened artificially. There some chemical composition is been added which can be objected. India says, sir, we didn't do this. Europe says, we have tested, you have done this. Then where does India will go? India will go and file in WTO under the clause of sanitary, stating that I have not used. So what WTO has a team of scientists. Okay, they will check that India whether it has used or not, and that will be solved. Same case, USA exported chicken. USA exported chicken to India. When USA exported chicken to India, India at the barriers added up, stating that your chicken has bird flu. Okay, and I'm not going to allow, because it is going to impact my domestic producers. So where USA will go and file in WTO under sanitary food items, stating that India has raised this question that my goods contain something bird flu. So finally it was declared that none of the issues were there with the birds which USA was exporting, and you have to clear it away. So these are called as sanitary. Now what are phytosanitary? Phytosanitary means non-food items. Now mobile phone you have imported from USA. If this mobile phone you are facing some technical issue, the mobile phone, if you are facing some technical issue and it is not working properly, then you can file against it. So that filing will again be under non-food category of phytosanitary. Even this, see here, there's a question, agreement on agriculture, sanitary, phytosanitary, peace clause, etc. In this concept, the theme is all related to WTO. Now if you can read, you can easily answer it as WTO. It's nothing big deal. But but there are some individual terms there. What are sanitary, phytosanitary, what are peace clauses, what is agreement on agriculture. You have to read them, because the terms which you are getting in the question together reflects one answer. Similar terms will be asked in the next coming exam. Could be your state service or could be your central service. They will take one term and they will frame one more question. So that is the reason I have taught you all these three. I hope everyone is clear with this. Now third question about WTO. Third question about WTO. Now read this question. Anyways, you have answer also in your pocket. So don't go through the answer. Just read this question. I'll explain you the terminology. This was asked in 2017. What is the meaning of ratification? India has ratified. You read it well. But what is the meaning of ratification? Okay, good. Listen. Signing means you are just approving. Signing means you are just approving, but ratification means you are bringing that into your law. India ratified means you will implement it. They are certain bodies. For example, they are some environmental laws, etc. You ratified it and you have applied it and you have implemented it. Then you have CPCB, like Central Pollution Control Boards, State Pollution Control Boards, water bodies, etc. If you are going anything against it, then you are going subjected under some penalties. For example, there is a pollution check. For example, there are some challans, fines. Why do you have to pay? Because you have broken the rules. Alright. So in the same way, India has ratified Trade Facilitation Agreement. What is this TFA? See, earlier we will link the concept of peace clause, which happened in Doha. Very important for the state and central services with respect to WTO is, first is Doha, second is Bali. Where is Doha? There. Where? There means Qatar. Okay. Bali. Super. Indonesia. Most people go there, no? Why? Why? Okay. Some summits untai. That is the reason they go there. It's not for photo shoots, etc. Chalo, done. Now, Doha and Bali, these are very near. Near geographically gaadu, very near with respect to WTO. In Doha, there was an agreement on agriculture. In Doha, there was an agreement on agriculture which dissatisfied India. I have told you why India was dissatisfied with respect to. Chalo. Why was India dissatisfied with respect to this agriculture? India was dissatisfied with respect to agriculture because India was not happy that additional subsidies were not given. And based on your formula, USA and its group were going to be benefited under some subsidies. So simple formula I'll draw. Okay. See here in agreement on agriculture, it is divided basically into two groups. Group which is led by India, group which is led by USA. This we call as developed group. This we call it as developing group. So here they are taking a cutoff which is 1985-86. They are taking a cutoff which is 1985-86. So 1985-86, the developed has produced $100 billion of production. Developing has produced $10 billion of production. WTO says, as you are developing, so you can give more subsidies of 10%. As you have developed, you will be allowed to give less subsidies, that is 5%. So for developing, I'll give 10%. For developed, I will give 5%. So 5% of $100 billion will become $5 billion. 10% of $10 billion will become $1 billion. Now who can give more subsidies? Is it developing or developed? Developed can give how much? $5 billion.
Developed can give $5 billion subsidies means what? You give them money and they will produce the goods cheaper. Now based on this calculation, whose goods will be cheaper? Developed countries goods will be cheaper. Then when your goods are cheaper, who will get more demand? Developed. Then who is at the losing side? India. India objected this. It was again the China which joined in this team. It also objected, stating your calculation itself is wrong. WTO says this is the perfect calculation. I have taken 1985-86 as an base year, considering there were neither inflation nor deflation. The production was quite okay for both of them. 10 is what you produce, 100 is what you produce. We have taken this calculation. You can give only $1 billion. India said, Acha, we'll come back. Because we know there is one more summit which is going to happen in Bali and we were waiting for that. So as of till here, only $1 billion. My goods are costly. Developed countries' goods are cheaper. And hence, your goods are dominating in my country. Let them dominate. I will wait till they dominate, because I was waiting for Bali. So we met at Bali. Here there was an agreement which is called as Trade Facilitation Agreement, TFA. Now what is TFA? TFA says that as per WTO, you should be very much fair. You should be very much fair. Fair in sense, exports, imports, taxes, etc. You should be very much fair. You should be very much transparent, and make a portal which can clearly show what are your customs acts, laws, how much taxes you are putting up to the foreigner, how much benefits you are giving to the domestic. Please show us clearly in the portal. India said, I will not show. I will never sign TFA. India said, I will never sign TFA. Initially India says, I am following fair. I am following very much transparent, but I have not projected anything online. Whatever you want to do it. WTO said, peace clause, isko hata do. India said, I will ratify, yes. Alright, so WTO said, these calculations will not be applicable. India said, you check my website, it is applicable. It is online now. That I will show everything. Trade Facilitation Agreement means all those goods, services where you are trying to put some taxes on the domestic, on the foreign, should be very fair, should be transparent. You project them, you show them. That has to be as per the law of WTO, which means the global market, how much US is putting the taxes, how much India is adding taxes, it should be very fair to everyone. Initially India rejected. Why did India reject TFA? He will ask you such questions. Why did India reject TFA? Because it was not happy with Doha. Here the declarations which were given as part of Doha, okay, which is called as Doha Agenda on Agriculture, DAA. So Doha Agenda on Agriculture, I am not happy, I am dissatisfied with your calculations. And when India ratified TFA, trying to be very fair, transparent, WTO said, as of now we will recalculate it again, but as of now India can give more subsidies. Alright, so now it's a very simple question. India has ratified to TFA of WTO. First statement is correct? Obviously yes. TFA is part of WTO's Bali Ministerial Package of 2013, which is also correct. Just remember Bali Ministerial Package which held in 2013. Okay. Next, TFA came into force in January 2016. This is a very important agreement. Okay, that you should remember, that it came into force in 2017. So it came into, see, I have written the next site also. TFA entered into force 2017 after 2/3 of WTO membership completed their domestic ratification process, which includes India. Okay, now you must be knowing what is TFA. You must be knowing what is sanitary, phytosanitary, peace clauses, etc. So 3 is wrong, you eliminate 3 and you are left only with 1 and 2. 1 and 2. See, lot of websites are there and lot of YouTube channels are there. Like yesterday, one of the faculty Adnan told in this orientation classes, like there's lot of YouTube channels etc. which started promoting the hints and techniques, cheat codes, okay, the cheat codes to eliminate UPSC, and people follow that. And this time, there was not even a single cheat code which was applicable. So it's very difficult in this nowadays. Competition has become very high for the state services and central service. It's very difficult to eliminate the options. Both are on very much standard. So I don't think so you should waste your time watching YouTube channels where the people will wear one blazer and come on the screen stating that this video compulsory gives you 100 plus marks. So if you don't get 100 plus, will you catch him? Definitely no. So if you want, you can watch. I'm not against the content what is giving, but I don't think so you should promise that 100 plus with this techniques and everyone will clear watching that video. Everyone will get 100 plus, then everyone is qualified, then no prelims, everyone will get mains hall ticket, that's it. So it will never happen like such. So don't waste time in roaming across this YouTube channels. Alright, so you should know what is TFA as of now. Right on. Now take the fourth. I'll give some content about TFA, about little bit content for you about TFA. Okay, so write down about TFA. It was considered as part of 2013. It was considered as part of 2013 Bali ministerial meeting. Considered as part of 2013 Bali ministerial meeting. Next, it seeks to improve the global trade. It seeks to improve the global trade by reforming customs procedures. Next, India has ratified it, and later on TFA came into force. In 2017 February. Next point, the agreement includes first one, lowering import taxes, and agricultural subsidies. Second one, abolish hard import quotas. Next, reduce red tapeism. Red tapeism. Red tapeism across international borders. Okay, these are the three important as per of TFA. People who are going for prelims, ఇది బట్టి కొట్టండి.
అన్ని త్రీ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. అండ్ ఆల్ దిస్ త్రీ డైరెక్ట్లీ పిక్ ఫ్రమ్ ద న్యూస్ పేపర్. లుక్, ఫస్ట్ వన్, లోవరింగ్ ఇంపోర్ట్ టారిఫ్ ఆర్ taxes. What is that import taxes? Customs. Like someone is exporting good, what will you add on that? Customs. So that customs taxes, okay, that has to be reduced. You cannot maintain that heavy custom taxes. What will happen if the custom charges are very high on foreign goods? Obviously the foreign goods will be costly or cheaper? Costly. Then if it's costly, the demand will be higher, it will be lower. Okay, then preference will the domestic goods will be high. So you should not do such kind of mechanism which is against TFA. You said yes to TFA, then you should have reasonable taxes. Second important, and lowering import tariffs or taxes and agricultural subsidies. What are agricultural subsidies? Subsidies which are given to the farmers, subsidies which are given to the laborers who work in the agricultural fields, subsidies which are given for the inputs. India give lot of subsidies on what? On seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, etc. That should not be heavy, it should be reduced. Because if you give more subsidies for our people produces goods which will be very very cheaper, then there will not be any demand for the foreign goods. It will again impact the trade. So both the statements, okay, should be accepted. Lowering the import tariffs or taxes and lowering the agricultural subsidies. Second, abolish hard import quotas. Now what are quotas? Quotas are number of items or goods which I am trying to allow into a country. Now which means abolish hard import quotas. Hard import quotas means earlier USA was exporting to you 100 mobile phones. Now you are saying that don't send me 100 mobile phones, send me only 50. These are called as quotas. Plus earlier India was producing 100 mobile phones. Now you will ask them to produce 200. That means on foreign you have put restriction on quotas. On domestic you have increased the quotas, which means domestic goods will be more, foreign goods will be less. Domestic goods are more, supply is more, obviously prices will be less, demand will be more for domestic. And the foreign, as usual, number of goods which are flowing in India are less, then obviously those prices with respect to the customs will also be higher, and the more demand will be on the Indian goods. So you are not supposed to do. That is the meaning of the second statement. Quotas. Quotas are very important subjects with respect to WTO. Next, reduction in red tapeism. Reduction in red tapeism means what? This country is very favorite to me. This country is very favorite to me, and I am going to allow more goods from this country when compared to other country. This is called as red tapeism. Red tapeism means being favorable to few when compared to others. Alright, so this is about the concept of TFA. Chalo, take the next question number 4. Poverty reduction and growth facility has been established by IDA to provide further assistance to low income countries facing high level of indebtedness. This is actually a wrong statement. What is wrong here? Poverty reduction and growth facility. See, most of them say that World Bank talks about poverty, hunger, development, etc. There is one thin tread light statement where IMF also bothers about poverty. This is that statement, and he has picked that statement in the exam. IMF definitely do not consider how poor you are, how rich you are. It considers GDP. Your GDP is good, I'll give you more loans. If your GDP is less, I'll give you less loans based on what? Your quotas. But World Bank talks about what? Poverty, hunger, okay, women education, girl child education, reconstruction, development, etc. But there is one thin line where IMF do talks about poverty reduction and growth facility, and this is the statement what he has picked. There is only one thin line where IMF talks about poverty, and this is the statement.
So these statements were directly picked from the website of where? Not any Indian websites where you follow. It's about IMF. He has taken directly from the IMF website, where he has given their International Development Association, which is a wing of World Bank. Okay, which is not going to be correct. So it is actually in the place of IDA. What will you write? IMF. In the place of IDA, you will write IMF. Next, Singapore Regional Training Institute, which is called as STI, is one of the institutes that provides training in macroeconomic analysis. Now, what is macroeconomic analysis? Which talks about inflation, talks about trade, export imports. These put together are called as macroeconomic analysis, and policy and related subjects as part of the program of IMF institution. See, IMF is so clever, it has some regional institutions. One of the regional institution is present at Singapore. What does it will do? It will train the regional countries in order to develop their growth rate. And Singapore Regional Training Institution is one such institution where it will train the member countries who have taken the membership in this STI institution. Alright, imagine you have come here, we are training, that's it. Imagine this is Singapore, you are coming to Singapore and you have been training. Same way, if India takes membership, then India will be getting this training. And this is a regional center. This is a regional center of IMF. Alright, so second statement is correct when we consider the first statement. Alright, so write down about Singapore. We will write now about the Singapore training institutions. This is a regional center of IMF. Regional center of IMF, which trains the countries in that particular location, to have financial stability. Next line. In collaboration with Government of Singapore, comma, Japan and Australia, IMF will organize a training course for officials from countries in Asia Pacific region. Next, STI was established in 1998. Okay. Next, macroeconomic analysis means training the countries in the subjects like trade, trade, comma, inflation, growth and development, etc. Okay, see, there was a first question which we have discussed. I have very important content to give you. The first question what we discussed was about IMFC. So just look at the question, International Monetary and Finance Committee. So make some space and write down about this. IMFC, International Monetary, this financial committee. Whom does it advise? IMF. To IMF, within IMF, whom does it advise? Executive board. So how many members you have? 24 you have. So India is part of 16. So who are the members in India's group then? Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Bhutan. That's it. Remember, there is no Nepal. Even though Nepal is our neighbor, there is no Myanmar, there is no Pakistan, there is no Afghanistan. They fall into other groups. So India will not take responsibility of these countries. India will take responsibility of only the other three, including we have four. Okay, write down. IMFC will advise. IMFC will advise and report to IMF in the management of international monetary and financial system. International monetary and financial system. Next, IMFC meets usually twice a year. Okay, next. So what is there in newspapers that I am going to give you? Write down. IMF Board of Governors. IMF Board of Governors is basically advised by two ministerial committees. First one IMFC, second one Development Committee. Next, IMFC has 24 members. And acting as a mirror image of IMF's executive board. Next, Development Committee. Development Committee is a joint committee. Which will advise Board of Governors of IMF and also the World Bank. This committee also has 24 members. Alright, so take question number 5. Consider the following statements. The Stability and Growth Pact of European Union is a treaty that Stability and Growth Pact of the European Union is a treaty that. See, Stability and Growth Pact is a keyword which was most of the time mentioned in the news with respect to economy. So, Stability and Growth Pact is, now he will frame a question. The term recently in news, that is Stability and Growth Pact, is related to which of the following associations? He will give you SARC, he will give you BIMSTEC, okay, he will give you OPEC, or he will give you European Union. So what you should do when you are reading previous questions, you should keep in the mind that you are solving the question means it is not about checking only the answer. It is about the question, the theme, and also the answer. Which means questions can be answers and answers can be a statements. So statements can again be a solution. So you have to basically read 360 degrees. That's what yesterday few of them used the words 360 degrees they said. Few said 90 degrees. Everyone have their own tracks, etc. So you go whichever direction you want, but make sure that you read the statement, question and option. Now, what is this European Union? That is the Stability and Growth Pact of European Union. What is this treaty? See, this treaty is only about these European countries. First point. And second important point, they will talk about financial stability. That's it. Financial stability of European countries. That's it. How European countries should behave about their financial stability, etc., is what is this treaty. How should you grow? How should you take measures? How should you earn, etc.? Because there are certain countries which are called as the background countries. Basically, we call them as PICs. The problem of European Union itself is with PICs. He will ask you such statements that PICs are the terms. PIC is a term which is recently in news. Is it related to which of the following countries? Answer is Europe. P is for Portugal, E is for Italy, G is for Greece, S is for Spain. PICs related countries, most of the time, if there are any internal or external issues, they will fall into economic trap. And this economic trap, they have to come out, because it should not be like a cycle. Every time you fall into trap, you will take some measures, etc. Prior itself, you take some measures ensuring that there is some stability. And this is the statement which is talking about Stability and Growth Pact. Second, your country's economic growth has to be high. And this pact is not talking anything about how you should support other countries. So, how you should financial support them, how you should technologically support them. We are not talking about anything in this treaty. In this treaty, we are talking about how you will grow. That's it. How you should grow and how you should not fall into economic trap. We are talking only about us. We are talking only about us. We are not talking anything about others. This was the theme. Clearly I taught in the class. Now read this question. Stability and Growth Pact of the European Union Treaty that, what is the correct statement now? Limits the level of budgetary deficit of the countries of the European Union. That means budgetary deficit means you should not have more expenditures. Reduce your expenditures, increase your receipts, so that you will not have much budget deficit and most of the countries will have a proper growth. First statement is correct or wrong? Correct. Second one, makes the countries of European Union to share their infrastructure facilities. We are not that dildar. We are not in that dildar because we are not having that financial stability now. The COVID ochaka we got more affected. Economic crisis. So second statement is going to be wrong. Now read the third. Enable the countries of European Union to share their technologies. Be very clear. So there, most of the time when you read there, both the statement share, both could be correct. Infrastructure facilities, technologies, both may be correct. Budget deficit, European Union are very strong, they may not be in the budget deficit. So psychological test, that's it. Here second statement is wrong, third is also wrong. It will not talk anything about promoting other countries, supporting other countries. No, first you grow, you are in crisis. Is it clear? So this is the report, that is Stability and Growth Pact. Next time what question I will expect from this? He will ask a very simple question. Stability and Growth Pact, sometimes seen in news, is related to Asian countries, European countries, African countries, or some USA based countries, American based countries. Answer has to be European countries. So this is how he will frame a question from the statements, and statement becoming the question next time. Okay, so write down a few lines about this. It is a fiscal framework. It is a fiscal framework. Fiscal framework. Fiscal means financial. Fiscal financial activities in 1 year. Financial activities in 1 year. Basically, we have the financial year. What is our financial year? 1st April to 31st March. This is our financial year. So the same thing we are writing here. It's a fiscal framework established by the European Union. Established by the European Union to ensure fiscal discipline. To ensure fiscal discipline and stability. Fiscal discipline and stability among its members. This pact was introduced in 1997 to ensure a stability in European market. Two main components. TWO. Two main components. First one, preventive arm. PREVEN. Preventive arm. 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 Second one, corrective arm. CORRECTIVE. Corrective arm. So we can frame one question. Preventive arm and corrective arm recently seen in news. అది రీసెంట్ కూడా ఉండదు. ఎప్పుడో ఏదో ఒక పాయింట్లో వచ్చి ఉంటుంది. He will read the newspapers and he will pick and he will give. People will come out and say paper must tough ఉందని. Okay, so preventive arm and corrective arm. Corrective. Like you need to make some sort of corrections with respect to what? With respect to your fiscal policies. That is related to European Union. Alright. Next, consider the following countries. According to UNCTAD, which of the following are categorized as emerging economies? So what do you mean by emerging economies? Economies which have started growing. Okay, so which are in transition. Emerging economies are those economies which are in transition, which are basically growing. Okay, they are not much developed, but they are not into developing also. They are not much developed, but they are not into developing also. That means they are in between now. That's why we are calling them as they are into transition. ठीक है, लिखो. UNCTAD, what is the full form? United Nations. అక్కడ బాగా చెప్తారు. నెక్స్ట్ చెప్పండి. United Nation Conference. That's it. Conference. Write down. United Nation Conference on Trade and Development. Conference on Trade and Development, constituted in 1964. Okay, it has around 195 members. It has around 195 members. Headquartered at Geneva. Headquartered at Geneva. Where is Geneva? Switzerland. Okay, good. Geneva is in Switzerland. So according to this emerging economies, that means it will define those economies which are in transition. Brazil is there, Mexico is there, South Africa is there. So all put together are emerging economies. Next, as regards the use of మరి రాసుర్రా. నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ చదువుతున్నా నేను, మీరు రాసుర్రా. మనం రాసుడేనా? మార్నింగ్ కలిసినప్పుడు రాయడం, ఈవినింగ్ కలిసినప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ అని చెప్పానా? చెప్పలేదా? ఇప్పుడు చెప్తున్నాను చూడండి. 7th క్వశ్చన్. రీడ్ 7th క్వశ్చన్. యాజ్ రిగార్డ్స్ the use of international food safety standards as reference point to the dispute settlements. Which of the following does WTO collaborates with? See here, WTO is much concerned about the food safety security. So when WTO is much concerned about food safety and security, it will run a small unit which is called as the first option, codex, which means it is established based on the collaboration from WHO. What is WHO? Okay, ade WHO. Next, FAO. What is FAO? Super, baga chepparu. WHO and FAO both put together, they are collaboratives, they are working about the food safety, security, etc. So WTO is much concerned with the safety, and the guidelines they will take it from WHO and FAO, and these guidelines together will ensure that they are proper measures which needs to be taken. Just now we have studied about sanitary, phytosanitary. So this is talking mostly about the sanitary measures, which is talking about the food regulations, etc. You should not use much chemicals, you should not use much pesticides, etc. So such things will be taken care in collaboration with, first one, Codex Alimentarius Commission. So next time he will frame the question considering what is the responsibility of this commission. Okay, so basically they have one index, they have some set of questions. How are this set of questions framed? These set of questions, I'll check whether this question like topic is in news or not. Then I will take this topic and make some research from the past 10 years, 15 years of UPSC paper. I will read whether this question has been asked or not. Yes, if this question is asked, then I will take some help from this question. I will take help from this question stating that previous what you have framed as a statement, can I make it as a question plus one statement I will add from newspaper. Current affairs I will add from newspaper, previous question I will put it as statement, and finally you will make one question. This is the outline of few of the questions. Now here you should remember there are two organizations are involved which are supporting WTO. First one is I have written on the board, WHO, and second one is FAO. What are this? They are working as a unit and they will support WTO to put certain measures. Quality check is what is the keyword you should remember as per this. So write down CODEX, Codex Alimentarius Commission. Codex Alimentarius Commission is an international food standard body. International food standard body established jointly by FAO and WHO. FAO and WHO. It was established in 1963. Established in 1963. Okay. The members includes the active members part of European Union. Active member part of European Union, and the remaining 188 member countries. Active members part of European Union and remaining 188 member countries. So how will you write this? 189. 189 is equal to 188 plus European Union. Write down 189 is equal to 188 plus European Union. Now, is India a member? That is important. India is a member and it took a membership in 1964. Write down. India became a member of Codex Alimentarius Commission in 1964. Okay, so this commission works in 6 international languages it will promote. Write down. CSE works in 6 United Nations official languages. CSE works in 6 United Nations official languages. First one, Chinese, English, Arabic, French, Russian and Spanish. Alright, so these are the 6, and India is a member, you should remember. It is working in collaboration with whom, you should remember. What is its responsibility? Why did you form this CSE? What is so importance of that functions will write now. Write down. Its responsibilities includes to maintain standards, covering all the main foods, FOOD, main foods, comma, processed, semi processed or raw. Processed, semi processed or raw, all three are being clearly will be checked. Next line, it concerns hygienic and nutritional quality of food, comma, labeling, comma, presentation, methods of sampling, etc. Okay, so you have many regions. This CSE has many regions which will set some standards, check some standards, etc. One such region is in India, that is an headquarters for Asia. Alright, so what does this CSE is doing? I mean, like, this is a very important institution which will check some standards. So this is where FAO and WHO are setting some standards, plus WTO is taking a report from them. They are supporting to WTO. I hope this is a very simple question. Now read, what is the theme of the question? As regards the use of international food safety standards as reference point for the dispute settlements, which one of the following does WTO collaborates with? Alright, so that is basically Codex Alimentarius Commission, CAC. Okay, 8th question. Our class is still 8. Okay, because I heard 1 or 2 puches, so let's reminding you that it is still 8. You are sitting here, I am standing. Alright, else you stand, I'll sit. Clear? Okay, fine. Read 8th question. In the context of the affairs of which of the following is the phrase special safeguard mechanism mentioned in the news recently? Special safeguard mechanism, it was asked in 2010. Special safeguard mechanism is related to again WTO. So what is special safeguard mechanism? Listen carefully. Special safeguard mechanism means there is some special provision which is to safeguard. Safeguard what? Safeguard the goods produced. Safeguard the goods produced by the weak or developing countries. So how is this being benefited, safeguarded? Now for example, you take the case of USA. India says, sir, we are giving subsidies as per what you have given me the permission. These subsidies are making my goods little bit lower and there is some demand. USA is also giving subsidies. and these subsidies are troubling me, and hence give me some special protection. What is that special protection? This special protection is called as SSM, which will be given for this countries like India, etc., where taking this power as a reference, India can give some additional subsidies to its domestic producers, and hence this goods will be much cheaper than developed countries. India and China has raised a point in WTO summits that, sir, even though subsidies are given by developed and developing, even though you are permitted, developed countries goods are still cheaper. Why they are cheaper? Because they are much advanced technologies in these countries which will not utilize much labors. In case of India, we don't have much advanced technologies. We have involvement of more labor, making the prices as costlier, because I have to give labor the wages, and this wages is increasing the factors of production, that is the factor cost, prices are higher. And India request to WTO stating that we are giving subsidies as per your norms, please give us special powers so that we can give more subsidies than the developed, so that our goods can get some demand in the global market. Is it clear, everyone? So SSM is something given to developing countries like India, which is in addition to already subsidies what you are giving. Subsidies everyone is giving, developed is giving, developing is giving, both are giving the subsidies, which is making the products as cheaper or little bit costlier. But you statement అమ్మాది మీరు సీరియస్ తీసుకుంటారు, which is making cheaper or costlier అంటే cheaper for developed, costlier for 100 rupees subsidies you are supposed to give, US can give 100, India can give 100, both are giving 100 as per WTO. In such cases, you are giving 100 as subsidies and you are using machineries. You are giving 100 rupees subsidies and you are using labor. So labor additional charges have been added. Raw materials are costly. Raw materials production, mining of raw materials, both are mechanized in USA. Here both are manual almost, and hence additional charges have been added in India and the products are costly. So this credit goes to India and the group which has requested WTO, and WTO has given this special safeguard mechanism. Okay, so this is related to what? WTO. You can write 2 lines and we will close. Special safeguard mechanism is a protection measure allowed for developing countries, underline, allowed for developing countries which will protect their domestic goods, from the foreign. Next point, under SSM a special provision is provided. Under SSM a special provision is provided by WTO to developing countries which can protect their goods, domestic goods by making their prices lower. And adding adding certain taxes on the foreign goods. And adding certain taxes on the foreign goods. See what USA says. This is SSM is applicable for whom? That's it. This is a special power given to them so that they can give some more benefits. That's it. This was obviously this will be objected by whom then? Developed countries will object this. We are not happy with what the special power which you have given to the developing countries, which is making their products to be in demand in the globe. And what WTO says that SSM should be continued for certain period of time and it will be stopped. After certain period of time, when these developing countries will become developed, they can stop. Now who will go and voluntarily say that I am developed? No one will voluntarily go and declare that, sir, I am developed, remove me from SSM. So here USA says India and China are developed. India says we are developing. But under UNCTAD, you declare yourself as transforming. That's what US point out. Stating under UNCTAD, you discuss and you said that you are those countries which are under transition. You are neither into developing nor into developed. You declared this. Why you declared this? So that you can have more foreign investments. For foreign investments, you are saying you are very near to developed. But for special mechanism, you are saying you are still developing. Which one you have to take? So India says whichever you want to take, you take it. But as per WTO, we have got this protection for certain period of time, we will use it. Alright, so these are few topics which we have discussed as per today. When we meet, remaining we will cover and we will go to inflation and banking tomorrow. Alright, thank you.